We're right here, on the ground in El Paso, Texas, where literally thousands of people are gathered at the US-Mexico border. And it all has to do with this one pandemic-era policy called Title 42. And get this, its expiration is set to change everything. So let's break down exactly what's going on.
So, we're here to investigate what seems like a simple question, but it's actually incredibly complex. When a border policy that's been the rule for years just ends, what happens next? I mean, what does that actually look like for the people trying to cross and for the city right on the other side? We're going to find out. Okay, so we arrived at the border wall, and I mean, within minutes, we saw it happening firsthand. People actively, illegally crossing into the United States. It was just this raw, unfiltered moment, and the response, well, it was just as immediate. What was so striking was the human scale of it all. You know, this wasn't some abstract news report. These were families with young children, a group of maybe 20 people, all being rounded up by U.S. Border Patrol. Their journey in America was literally beginning with apprehension. The whole situation was just incredibly tense.
Now, to really put what we just saw into perspective, you have to look at this number. Federal officials on the ground told us the El Paso sector processes an average of 1,400 people every single day. So this isn't a one-time event. It's a relentless daily reality.
So this whole experience really left us with three crucial questions, and they're going to guide our journey here. First, what are people running from that's so bad they'd risk this? Second, what is this going to do to an American city like El Paso? And maybe most importantly, what exactly is this policy, Title 42, that's at the heart of everything?
To understand what's happening now, you've really got to understand the rules of the game. So let's take a minute and break down the policy that has defined this border for the last few years.
First things first, here's a crucial legal point from Border Patrol. Official ports of entry. Those are the designated crossings, the bridges and checkpoints. Crossing anywhere else, just like this agent says, is illegal. It doesn't matter what other policy is in place. That's the baseline.
So, what is Title 42? Well, it's actually not an immigration law. It's a public health order that was put in place during the pandemic. And its main purpose was to let authorities rapidly expel migrants, we're talking within hours, without even giving them a chance to make a case for asylum.
And this right here shows the crucial difference. With Title 42 gone, the system goes back to the standard immigration law, which is known as Title 8. Now, this reopens the door for people to make formal asylum claims, to try and prove they face persecution back home. But, and this is so key, it also comes with much stricter penalties. Illegally crossing under Title 8 can get you a 5-year ban from the U.S. and even potential criminal charges. So the whole situation just became a much higher stakes game for everyone.
All right, to get the full picture, you just have to see both sides of the wall. So we crossed into Mexico. We wanted to understand the motivation behind the thousands and thousands of people who are just waiting.
I mean, the scene on the Mexican side is just staggering. There's a constant stream of buses arriving, dropping off more and more people. They're forming these huge encampments right up against the border wall. It's like little cities are popping up, and they're all focused on one thing: waiting. And in the middle of this massive crowd, we met a mother from Venezuela. When we asked her why she made this incredible journey, her answer was so simple and powerful. She said it wasn't for her, but for her kids, for a future and an education that she could never have. We also talked to a man from El Salvador, and he told us he didn't want to leave his home, but he felt like he had no other choice. It's just a reminder that this isn't one country's story. It's a mix of people from all over South and Central America, and every single one of them has their own desperate reasons for running.
After hearing these stories, we came back to the U.S. to see what happens after people actually make it across. We really wanted to understand the real-world impact on El Paso, a city that's now at the epicenter of this huge national story. It's dealing with the strain on resources, for sure, but also with the humanity of all its newest arrivals.
A local police officer gave us his perspective on how they're managing things downtown. He explained that many migrants gather near a church that offers them sanctuary. He also pointed out the logistical headaches, everything from public health concerns to just needing local cops to contain the growing crowds to a single area.
But then, just a few feet away from all that, we saw a completely different part of the story. This man, who had just arrived, was already working. He was earning $700 to paint the side of a building. It's this incredible example of the drive to contribute right from day one.
And this really shows you the city's complicated reality. The business owner who hired him was totally impressed. His view just highlights the tension in the local conversation. You have concerns about resources right alongside these stories of entrepreneurial spirit and a workforce that's just eager to get started.
So, as we went back to the border for one last look, the whole atmosphere had completely changed. With the end of Title 42 just days away, that mood of tense observation we saw at first, it was gone. And it was replaced by a feeling that something big was about to happen. The same area where we'd been filming freely just the day before was now being swarmed by state troopers. This is a state-level force brought in to secure the area. Yeah, the casual access was definitely over. Something was going down.
And we were told in no uncertain terms to leave. A state trooper walked up and said they were about to bring in a lot of vehicles to stage a major operation. The buildup was real, and believe me, it was happening fast.
And here's the number that really puts that buildup in a national context. The federal government sent 1,500 active-duty U.S. troops to the border. Now, they aren't there for direct law enforcement, but to provide logistical support to Border Patrol. This isn't just a local issue anymore. It's a full-on, national, coordinated response.
So it all comes down to this. On one side of a wall, you have thousands of people waiting, driven by this incredible hope for the future. On the other side, you have a nation's laws, its agencies, and its military, all bracing for what comes next. El Paso is the place where all these forces collide. And what we've seen is that there are no simple answers here, just a collision of policy, desperation, and the immense challenge of a city trying to navigate it all. The only question left is the one just hanging over this entire border. What happens when the waiting finally ends?